Welcome back to Tom's Garage, boys and girls. Welcome back to part 3 lapel of the Troy-Bilt Bronco 42 automatic. Yep. And today we're going to change both of the transmission belts. Part 1 we did the steering, fixed it because it had so much stuff packed in it. Part 2 we serviced the engine. In part 3 we're going to do the transmission belt, upper and lower, and we're going to put the deck back on it in the hood. Be done with it. I like to take the body off. You don't have to, but it makes it a lot easier for me, because after hip replacement and spinal fusion surgery and all that kind of stuff, I just can't bend over and twist, and you know, it just makes it easier for me because I have the luxury of having this table. I can bring it up and work on it right here. And for video purposes too, that's why I'm taking the body off, because I want you guys to see everything, every little thing about this tractor. Because when you have the body off, you can get to the solenoid way under there, and you can check it out real good, make sure nothing's burnt, nothing's loose. That's really the only way to get to the solenoid, is with the body off. Check the ground, screws and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty simple to get this body off. It don't take hardly nothing. You've got, in the front right here, there's a little carriage bolt with a nut and a washer. It's under here. I can find it. There it is. Just kind of hold your finger on it like that, hold it down in that little square hole. You just zip the nut right off, and I like to actually take the bolt out because it hangs on this bracket when you try to put the body back on or take it off. Make sure you go back in the proper hole, because when you slide the bodywork back on, that bolt will hang if you don't take it off. It'll make it more aggravating to get back on. You just pop the little knobs off, just like that. 2 of those knobs right there, pop them off same way. Then you've got, there's no nut on this bolt. It's threaded into the body of the frame. You don't have to take the seat off. You have to take the battery out. Those 2 bolts, you got 2 more on the other side. You got this bolt. You have to take a little razor blade. There's 2 3/8 headed bolts in here. You gotta fill them with your finger, and I'll just take a little razor blade and cut and fold this back a little bit. Zip them out. There's no nuts on the bottom of them. And we'll just take some, we'll use this gray right here. We'll just put a little dab on top of that bolt and we'll put it back in and just kind of glue that back down with this. Don't use nothing real permanent like super glue or something, because one day you'll have to take this thing back apart. This, you can just take your finger and just pick this out if you have to ever do it again, or another mechanic. I don't want another mechanic cursing me under his breath. Okay, let's do it. We'll do it in real time here. Do it in real time. All right, let me hit pause. I'm going to change cameras, and we're going to put I'm going to change cameras because the other camera's got a better tripod. I can set it on the table and you can really see what I'm doing here. Y'all hang with. Alrighty, first thing I'm going to do is take these off each side. If you try to do this without taking the body off, if you're just doing it in your driveway or garage or something, don't take this front one. Only take this back one loose and pull it out. I'll show you when we're working on it. If you take this one out, above this frame, between the red body and the black frame, you can feel where there's a nut and a spacer. If you take that bolt out, you're going to lose that spacer. It's going to slide around, and you'll never. And if you try to put it back together without that spacer, I'll show you, this thing's going to buck and act funny, lose power, won't go fast. And also, you absolutely, on these ponies and Broncos, you absolutely have to have OEM belts. Don't use aftermarket stuff on Amazon or anywhere else, because it may be the same length, but they're not going to be the same thickness, and the shape of the V may be a little different. This is going to be the belt back here that goes from the very drive pulley to the transmission pulley, and I'll show you my little trick to get that off. This is a 954-04208A, and the one that goes from the engine to the very drive pulley, 754 or a 954-0467A. I've even got a used one up there I saved. I had a guy call me just yesterday, man. He was in tears because he couldn't figure out how all that stuff went back together. And I've got other videos on this, and I showed him the links to other videos of me putting it back together. I saved him a lot of grief. All right, let's do it. All right, hold it from the top. You can use a 7/16 or an 11mm. They both fit the same. And I got the front of this thing on jack stands. Sure is a glare in that camera, isn't it? What if I had something on the lens? Okay. All right, we got that one. We'll go ahead and pull the bolt out. Take a hammer and kind of tap on it a little bit. Because it's rusted in there. If we don't get, I'll put the nut back on it. That way we're not beating on the threads. There we go. Just give it a little tap. This video is going to be kind of long because I'm taking my time to try to show you everything. See the little square? Okay. Put the nut and washer back on it. The nut and washer goes on the bottom. Well, that thing sure is kind of rusty on top there. I may look into replacing that bolt. All right, let's go over here. All right. Same thing over here. Ooh, look at the grass back in there. Where are you at? There you are. I'm gonna have to give this one a little tap too. Put the nut back on it till the nylon insert kind of stops it. There we go. I've never worked on one this dirty before. They usually just come right out for you. All right. All right. Now what I'll do, let's take a little razor blade. I can feel it right there. So what we'll do, no, there it is. I missed it. I thought it was down here. It's right there. Try not to butcher it too bad. And this is full of schmutz too. Here it is right there. Let me grab a air hose and blow the dust out of it. He uses this thing to cut a big field with. that's one reason I'm taking the body off, because I want to check a solenoid and I want to take my vacuum cleaner. The entire undercarriage of this thing is just packed with grass. That's why the steering was messed up. Let's see what I do with the impact. Just a 3/8 head on that little threaded bolt. Small. Yeah, this one's rusty. We're gonna have to get another socket or something. I was afraid that was gonna happen. You get so much packed in there. You get so much packed in there and it starts rusting the head of that bolt. It's a 3/8, but I'm gonna take a 9mm and see if I can tap it down and get a good bite on it. See if this will get it. There we go, we got it. 9mm. I say I've never seen a pony or bronco this corroded and packed in that grass like this one is. It's usually not this bad. I'm gonna get some new hardware when I put it back together. Then we'll put a little dab of that ATV sealer and just kind of maybe put a piece of tape on it overnight. All right. And we'll use a 1/2" socket with a good long extension. Ooh, boy, the allergies are getting me already. Look, man, look at the grass and stuff packed in this thing. He uses it for what it's made for, I'll tell you that. We got one bolt here. One bolt, well, that one's, no, here it is. One bolt there. I was about to say that one's missing. I just didn't see it. You have to do it kind of at a little angle. A little bolt. That's a 1/2" socket. Fits that. Okay. I guess first thing I could have done was took the battery out, but now we're already this far into it now. You don't have to take the seat or nothing apart. The seat is bolted to the bodywork, and these two bolts here and over there is what holds the body to the frame. So all that's going to come up as one piece. And also, somebody left a comment the other day on the video I did on one of these. He was aggravated because he couldn't figure out where this spring goes that springs this back. It just wraps around it right there, and it hooks to that battery box at the top. It's right behind that hole that goes straight up where the wires to the seat go. It's right there. That little spring right there hooks to that little hole. So we'll go ahead and take that off. That has to be off for the body to come off, because that's bolted to the body just like that, and it don't hurt how it goes. And now this is just floppy. I had the engagement cable hooked to it. I'll hook it back. Okay. Two bolts. One there, one here, one over there. Take the knobs off. Let's go take the knobs off. When you put them back on, you may have to don't put no lubrication on them, because when you put them back on, just take a rubber mallet or a piece of wood, and the hammer, just tap that all the way back home. You might have to take a pair of channel locks and break the traction. Get it to twist and it'll come off. Two knobbers. One has got a big hole, another has a small hole. They're different sizes. All right. Put these over here with the rest of them. Put all your goodies in one place. And when you pull the body off, these are going to kind of flop everywhere. So when you put the body back on, you're going to have to guide these into the proper slots. All right. This is just something I like doing for myself because I've got the luxury of taking my time. It just makes it so much easier. All right, let me lower the table a little bit and we'll get the battery out. All right, grab a 7/16 and a 3/8. I'm gonna prop this camera up against this piece of metal there. The taller you get it, the more unstable it is. I always take the 7/16, this little bracket right here, just kind of force it, kind of push down on it, and just force that up and out of the way. You see that? About let it touch that positive. It's probably best to do that after you get the battery unhooked. A lot of times those things will corrode and just break in half. Okay, I always take the negative off first. That way, in case you short that out, it won't spark and blow the fuse. Just kind of hook this back in there like that and don't lose the hardware. For now, I like to just take and kind of wrap it around that because I don't want this to actually fall back down and touch while I'm taking the positive. So you can take and now you can't spark it. And when you put the battery back in, put the positive back on first. Or put the little hole down on first. All right. Now we'll just pick the battery up and out of it. Hi-yah. And this will give you the perfect time to clean it and wash it with a hose. And these are just the little cradles that hold the battery. This is what the battery sits on. You stick it in there like that, and then you can set them down. It just sits inside the body. You don't necessarily have to take, well, you do have to take these out and get to that big pulley down there because you gotta get that pulley loose. Well, we get the belt out and around it because the clearance between that big pulley and the side of the frame is so close, you just can't get to it. Okay, we'll just unplug the seat wires. And just stuff them down through there. That's all you got to do. Now this body is ready to come off. Model number we're working on is a 13 AL78BS023. There's a model number for this one, very, very, very common. Matter of fact, I got two more of these out there in the carport, waiting to get worked on. Okay, let's turn the table. All right, let me change cameras so I can get the other big tripod and I'll show you taking the body off. Y'all hang with. All right, since we've taken those two bolts out of the front, they're not going to hang. You're not going to have to fight with it. So you just take it right up like that. There you go. There you go. And when you put it back on, you just slide it in like that and just kind of guide these up into the proper slots. Boy, look at the grass packed in there. That's why I wanted to take the body off. There goes my dirt bike, buddy. I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause because I'm gonna clean this. I don't wanna make a mess of my shop. So see, there's the solenoid. You can't get to it by just taking the battery out because you've got this. Right there. You got this piece of bodywork in the way. And you can't get through there. Very terrible design. I like them better when the solenoid's in the engine compartment up there. You can get to it a whole lot easier. Whew. And there we have it. I'm gonna go through here with my 7/16, make sure everything's tight. What I like to do, well, I've already, no I haven't. This is the ground, this is the main ground from the battery. That's where the battery grounds. And it just goes right through this thin threaded bodywork. So what I like to do is take my impact, stick it on there and spin it until it strips. And then I'll grind all this powder coating off and put another bolt. And I'll actually put a lock nut. Much better ground. I see a lot of electrical problems with these things. And it's usually that ground right there. It gets a little corrosion in there. Or it gets loose. Got to clean that real good. And I've seen a lot of these wiring harnesses, they get shorted out and burnt. I've replaced a lot of these harnesses. They get burnt right in here. Because you've got a main power wire going to the starter, and it just chafes because it's not well protected. And you can see how terrible these belts are. He told me when I picked it up, he said, go ahead and give it a good looking over, do whatever it needs, and I ain't dare going to give it back to him like that. I had one guy call me the other day, ask me if he knew if I could tell him where this spring went. And you can see it goes through the frame here and it pulls it this way. And this one comes from that drive pedal over there. This spring, well, we'll go over all that. Let me hit pause, let me get this thing cleaned up so we can see what we're working on. Y'all hang with it. All right, got it all nice and cleaned up. Now we see what we're working on. With the body off, you can inspect the wiring harness. You can check your safety switches. Here's one that tells the tractor that your parking brake is set or the clutch is pushed in. It's got a little plastic tip on the inside of it that goes through the frame and it holds it vertical. I've seen that broke, and these things will be laid back and it won't be engaging. I've seen that before. Your tractor won't do nothing if that thing is twisted or that little nipples broke off in the back. And here's the safety switch that tells the tractor the gauge is disengaged, deck is disengaged. I've seen this spring missing, and it just kind of lays up there like that. It won't activate that switch. All right. First thing I'm gonna do is fix that ground. It's a real weak spot. And then we'll get to the belts. All right, put it in forward. Strip it out. Strip that boy out. Now we'll put it in reverse. All right. All right. Now we'll take our little deburr tool. See, I mean, they just put this right over the top of that powder coating right there. It is. Great. You gotta get that powder coating off. So you know that wire is making contact. That stuff is kind of hard to get through. All right, that's nice and clean right there. That's gonna be a good ground. All right. Now we'll grab the 7/16 socket. We're gonna do this. And we'll put this regular 1/4 20 bolt in a lock nut. Put it in reverse. Now that is a good ground. All right. Everything's tight on the solenoid. Everything looks good. We got to get this top belt off first. And to do that, we got to get the spring loose. That'll give us the flop that we need. Charles Dean in Texas made me that, boy. Look at that. Texas. Let's say somebody has put that on backwards. The spring is supposed to come through here. No, I'm right. That's an optical illusion. Okay. Let's see how they do that. But and that goes right around that bolt head down there. All right. This is threads right into this. So we'll grab a 9/16. Loosen this pulley. See how that just threads into there? Check this pulley. That pulley feels good. And let me lower the table a little bit. I can't see what I'm looking at. Too high in the air. You don't have to take that pulley all the way off. You can just loosen it. It'll kind of flop back for you. And we'll have to work that belt out from around this pulley like that. And you can see what I was talking about, the distance, the gap right there. You cannot get that belt out from behind that. So some videos show people using crow's foot wrenches and stuff. What I'd like to do, which is pretty easy to do, let me raise the table up a little bit and I'll grab my screwdriver. I like to pop this little clip off right here, and it will allow you to move this shaft just out of the way enough to get a socket straight down on top of that, because right now you can't get to it. That bar runs right across the access to get to that nut. So we'll just pop this clip here. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Little external E-clip, we'll set that right there. You've got a plastic bushing that goes in there. So what you do is you just take and just slide this thing. Just like that. It just lays right out of the way. And don't lose this little plastic bushing right here. It's got kind of a hex shape. Just goes right in there. All right, now we can get a socket on that. Middle of that pulley, let me grab it. I believe that's going to be a 15/16. Nope. What was that? Was it a 7/8? It was. All right, take your belt. You might have to stick something down through that little hole to hold it. Or you can just take the belt and hold it with that. And we can pop this up. You can actually take it all the way off if you want to. And this little star pattern right here, you gotta make sure that pulley goes back down over that. Just like that. I was wanting to take that pulley all the way off and get some more of this grass out from under it. Because all this grass, you wouldn't believe how much was packed around that transmission. That'd make that transmission run hot. It would. A little bit more. He pulls a big old bagger in this thing. I don't know what he does with the grass. I guess he uses it for compost or something. All right. This belt's out of the way. Boy, that thing was in bad shape. He's got a lot of rolling hills on his property. Okay, we got to get that off to get the other belt off. Stick this back on there so I don't lose it. Okay, now this is the fun part. Let me set the camera on the other side. Set the parking brake so it throws all that slack on there we need. We might have to get it off the engine side first, but this can get kind of hairy if you ain't never done this before. See, this will allows you to, this middle pulley will slide up and down. It'll allow you, getting that first belt off allows you to pull this all the way up. And what you sometimes have to do is get it in that slot at the top. Now you can get it off like that. Okay. Now we got it off the transmission. And now we can move under. And this is what I was telling you, don't take this front one off because it bolts, you can't get to it really. You can, there's a little hole in the deck that you can hold that nut, but you can't get to this washer. And under this is a centering washer that's got to be perfectly in the hole to run that bolt back through, and you can't do that with the body on it. So if you accidentally take that off, you're going to lose parts and you won't be able to get them lined back up. So what we'll do is take this one off, and this bolt threads into the plate above, just like this plate. You've got two plates. This don't go through the frame. All it does, see, this is your pivot when you hit your go pedal. See, the whole thing, it just throws tension on the belt. Right now I got the parking brake set. It ain't gonna let me, but and that's how that works. Let me grab the wrench. Whew. Grab my knee pad too. Okay. 9/16. Pull the bolt out. Slide the pulley off. And on top of this pulley, you've got a nut. You got a big nut, a big threaded nut. See, it's bigger than the bolt. And it's just used for a spacer above this pulley. They must have used a pulley from something else so they didn't have to make new pulleys. See how it's got this? That goes down, so it doesn't bottom out the pulley itself on that. And that right there. But see, you got to put this nut on top. And that's what centers that thing up and acts as another spacer. Yep. And you can see right there where it screws into that plate right there. So this belt is going to go from the engine. You can see it goes inside these keepers. That's built into the frame. It goes on the inside of these two keepers. This side will go on the inside of that pulley, or actually on that side. It comes down through here, it goes on this side of the pulley, and then it's going to go on the other side of that other pulley, around the transmission and back. And this little keeper right here goes in between the two belts. That's about how close they're going to be riding. Okay, let's go ahead and get this belt off here. We're going to have to take this pulley loose and let it come down a little bit to clear that framework up there. And that's going to be a 5/8. I'm going to take that bolt all the way out because we're going to clean this bolt. We're going to clean this bolt off and put some thread lock on it when we put it back together. I see somebody's already had it off before, and it's probably me. I got a little over tight. Let me use my other impact. This one feels like it's losing power. I might have to let that air compressor kick on and pump all the way up. Let's let that air compressor kick on. Let's go over here and grab that and yell at those blower. Do that till the compressor kicks on, that way we have maximum pressure. I know that looks pretty intimidating, man, but just put all your nuts and bolts and parts where you need them, where you can remember to grab them. And if you do this job yourself, make a video. That way you know how it came apart. She's almost pumped up. I've seen these two plates right here, they can get off from each other, and it's hard to find them. It's hard to get them to line up so you can hit that threaded hole with the bolt when you put it back together, but just keep at it. You know, we may have to, I've had to do it before, take these 4 bolts loose from the engine and just kind of raise the engine up a little bit, slide it back a little bit. That's what I've had to do before. That may be what we have to do now. I don't want to take a chance on breaking this bolt. I'm going to try one more time, then that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'm not messing with that. Ooh, I ain't going to work on that, but that's what we'll do. We'll just take the engine bolts loose. There's only 4 of them. One there, one I think there, and one over here, right there. I've had to do that before. So let's do it again. All right. You don't have to take anything else loose, just them 4 bolts. Yeah, we'll have to use the impact on that too. That's pretty tight. I didn't think that impact would have done that. Let's see, where's my extension? What to do with it? What did I do with it? There it is. There's one. There's 2. There goes 3. All right, there's 4. Whew. Let's go up the other side. All right. Now what I'll do is grab me a big pry bar. Pry bar. So all you want to do is just clear those belt fingers. Slide it back a little bit. Slide it around just enough to get it clear one here. Slide around just a little bit. See, we got one side clear. The front's got enough room. And what we'll do is slide the engine over the other direction. And then we can take it out from around this side. Okay, there we go. And make sure that belt goes, when you put it back on, make sure it goes above this bar. And it's got to go through there just like that. Above this bar, above that bar. And wow, we got it. There she lays. I know you're thinking I'm doing an awful lot of work just to replace the belt, but I'm doing all this just to show you guys. Whatever y'all run into, you can overcome it by doing this or that. Let's pull this anti-theft thing off here. This is what, when you walk out the door at Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, this is what makes the alarm go beep, beep, beep. Pardon me, sir. Please go back to the cashier. And I'll just keep walking when that happens. If they're going to bum rush me in the parking lot thinking I stole something, that's fine. Okay. This belt's going to be a little bit thicker because it's new. Put it around that side. We'll come around here. Okay, we're inside these belt fingers. We're inside of these. Let's get it pulled back up through here. I got the table just a little bit high. It's all right. Now we got to get it to the bottom. Well, I got it wrapped around this crazy thing. There we go. Grab me a big screwdriver. There it is. Just kind of help it. Don't hurt it. Just kind of push it on down. You have to get it under the top plate there. Almost there. Almost there. Be easy with it. Let me see the other side. There we go. Just like that. Whew. And of course a big old thunderstorm hits. Make sure the bolt goes through that big nut at the top, and then you got to find where the threaded part is. There we go. I believe we got it. Ooh. Okay. From the transmission, it goes there on that side, then it goes on this side. You got that belt finger that separates the belt. This side runs from the engine to the transmission, around, through, there. Ooh. Can I say that was, yeah. Well, we're not in. I had it in reverse. Ooh. All right. Let's see, let's go ahead. I got the engine bolts back in there. Let's go ahead and tighten them down. Okay. Here's our hose. Okay. It's inside of these two belt fingers. It's down through here. Separated by that one. In that way. Over that way. Parking brake is off. And I'm gonna go over here and mash the go pedal. Ooh, listen to that thunder. Thunder and lightning. Okay. Got that done. I'll put all this back together. Where's the other belt? All right, make sure you get it on the five-star pattern. Make sure it goes in the groove on the pattern. Okay. Tight, tight, tight. Let's bring you back over here. And we'll get you back in here. All right. Little heat clip back on there. All right. Get the spring put back on. It goes there, goes on top of that spring. Push there. It's got to go under that belt. Don't forget that. Okay. Everything seems to be in place. Tight, tight. Motor's tight. Let's start at the very front. Okay, that's on. Engine bolts are tight. We never got that to budge. Goes down through here. That's good. Down through yonder. Okay. That belt's on. Everything's tightened. New ground. Everything looks good. All right. We are good. Let's see. I guess we'll put the body back on now. All right, let me change cameras. We'll blur up back. All right. Back on the ground. Let's get the body on. Let's get down with this one. Woo. Hey-ya. Pushed it off the table. Now this side's wet from the rain. Some part of the brakes, I'll let it push off the table. All right, when you put the body back on, you got to make sure it goes on the outside of the bodywork. Those two right there. Let me check this side. Fine. Everything looks lined up pretty good. All right, let's grab some tools. I found some better hardware. I keep all this stuff. I parted out a Bronco or a Pony a few years ago and kept all this stuff. Kept every little piece I could. Never know when you're going to need it. Well, let's stick this one over there now. Get everything on before we start tightening up stuff. Now we'll get these 4 bolts in, 2 on this side and 2 on that side. I'm gonna tighten these 4 first. That way, when you're tightening all other stuff, these here just don't fall back out. Because it's really hard to get these started. These are self-threading bolts, so the threads ain't perfect. While I have my hand down here, I'm going to go ahead and push them wires back up through there. Just like that. Go ahead and plug them back in. All right. Get these two little screws back in there. I had some of these in that box too. Then we'll come over here and tighten these four first. Now I'm going to grab the 7/16 and we'll tighten the two footboard bolts. There's that one. There's that one. Now we'll grab our 3/8, tighten these two. And we'll grab a little bit of ultra gray little gasket maker. Put a dab on top of each of the bolt heads. Well, I believe that stuff there's dried up. Well, let's find them. We'll just go back to this. This is almost empty. There's a little dab. That'll work. That's garbage. Okay, moving right along. Moving right along. Don't forget this little spring right here. It's gonna go in that little hole right up there, and just pull it down. Just like that. All right, let's slap some knobs on it. Twisty, twisty. All right. This is the bigger one that goes there. Down. This one goes there. We'll fill it bottom out. All right. Now we'll lower it back down and get the battery back in. Battery. Alright, these go in that little square hole down there. Like that. Like that. They blow this thing off out here with the booter. Make sure these wires are inside this little area here so they don't get pinched. Alright, 3/8 and a 7/16. Terminals look nice and clean. Start with the positive. Nice and tight. Little battery terminal protector. I always do the negative side too. Okay, let's put the camera down. All right, I'm gonna get this thing, before I put the deck and hood and everything back on it, I'm gonna fire it up and take it for a drive around the driveway, make sure she's good. Okay. Okay, so we're good. It's still in drive and you take your foot completely off this right go pedal, it should ease and come to a complete stop, and it shouldn't keep creeping. And if you use an aftermarket belt, it would start bucking and wouldn't stop, and you get yourself hurt using aftermarket belts. Let's raise it up and take a quick little peek at it. Make sure nothing's rubbing, burning. I had this engagement spring right here hooked to this lever, and they wouldn't let me take it out of reverse and put it in neutral and forward. Grab the flashlight. Belt looks pretty good. I don't see nothing burnt, nothing smoking. Okay. Looks good. Everything looks good. On this side. Good. All right. Well, hi boys and girls, I ain't gonna make you watch me put the deck on and the hood. And there we go. Steering wheel service, engine service, transmission belts. I did a whole lot of extra work just for the sake of y'all. I want y'all to see how I want y'all to see what it looks like with the body off and how everything's lined up and how everything's routed. That way, if y'all are looking at this video just to find out where a spring or something goes, maybe I'll have covered it. Hopefully, maybe. Well, all right, boys and girls, thanks for watching another Time to Be. Holler if you need me. Love y'all. Eat your vegetables and take your vitamins and tell somebody you love them. Say one good positive thing about somebody today. I can say one thing. Catch y'all in the next series, man.